On the course side, we knew that we might have to make some modifications to try to lengthen some holes, to try to maybe change some challenging aspects, or maybe change the optics of some of the holes. So we had one of the foremost designers in the country come in and do some work to help, tweak a few things. Maybe more surprising is the amount of activity that goes on to get a course ready. For the last 3 months, they have been building a city here on the grounds of Aronimink Golf Club. And, when the tournament's over, they'll start taking that down, and that'll take them, another 2 or 3 months to do that as well.
Yeah.
And the thing that was interesting for me to think about, some element of this type of activity is going on at another 12 or 15 courses around the country, because there's a professional tournament every weekend somewhere.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up?
What's up, fishes?
Good to see you.
Kathy, you sound perky. Are you in a good mood today?
Well, I mean, surprisingly, I do have a little spunk in my step, and I don't know why, because honestly, I feel like I have been really doing a lot of stuff and running myself ragged. But I'm getting ready for company, and you know how that is. I'm sure all of you can relate. When you have company, you're like, oh, this needs to be fixed, and this needs to be fixed, and oh my gosh, we have to do all this.
You kind of go way over the top. You really get a little, can I say, OCD about how things look, and nobody would notice but you.
Well,
I do appreciate the effort, because I'm one of those companies. So
yeah, thanks a lot. All this work for you.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess, we just had a bad winter, and it was really hard on our yard and our house. So it's like trying to do the cleanup and all that is like, what? But my latest thing, I mean, I kind of was laughing because, like Beauty and the Beast, like be our guests, put our services to the test. I'm like, I have been doing all that. The linens, the bedding, like everything.
Are you singing Expect to See a Dancing Candelabra?
Yeah. And now we've been outside because I wanted to get our patio nice because it is getting nice here and we want to spend some time out there. But it needed some serious work. Like a lot of our grout, it cracked.
Yeah.
We had just had it professionally done a few years ago, but there were just some areas that we tried to fix, which Peter did beautifully. But there's an area that he didn't have time to do. So then I got to do it this morning.
You're grouting your patio?
So I've learned a new skill. I grouted part of our walkway where it cracked. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, you are pretty handy. So Linda will have to be the judge to see how, maybe you can be hired out.
I'll grade your work.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job if I have to say so. But
you are very meticulous.
I don't know, but I mean, on top of all this, my middle son came home from college. And the poor thing, he actually had to go to a tournament for lacrosse. And so he literally dropped all his stuff from school. My husband went and moved him. They put it in the kitchen. And then my son had to leave to go out of state to go to this tournament. And I was like, I had just gotten everything kind of
in its place. I know. It's an ongoing battle.
I mean,
so did you have to lug off his stuff up to his room? They didn't have time to literally go up a flight of stairs. What happened?
It's so much stuff. I'm putting most of it in the basement, but all his bonus was the thing. He had duffel bags full of clothes, and he's like, "Mom, all those clothes are dirty." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
of course they are.
What?
Yeah,
I don't have it in me.
Nasty dorm.
Ew. And the sheets were nasty. I was like, oh my God, I don't have it in me.
You didn't want to save it for him for when he got back from the tournament?
Oh, no. I was trying to be
handle
nice.
it?
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah. Well, you are nice.
You are nice.
You are nice.
I
Well,
appreciate
welcome home,
all your
Trevor.
efforts. I can't wait to inspect your work.
I need a little downtime now just to relax.
Well, you can enjoy all the caulking and repairing you did on your patio and have a little Prosecco and sit out there tonight with your fire pit.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I like it.
Okay, you guys. On today's show, we're going to talk about what's the buzz, PGA Championship, a peek behind the scenes, and what's for dinner. But before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody to please rate, review, and send us a note and invite your favorite fishes to jump in and join the conversation. All right, you all, what's the buzz? So, Kathy, something caught my attention. I'm always on social media and I'm always looking at stuff on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if BuzzFeed is a reliable source, but it caught my attention because BuzzFeed had this article about how a dentist was talking about how he wants parents to stop letting their kids snack on Cheez-Its and certain granola bars and goldfish, that he's saying it's worse for their teeth than eating candy and causing problems like cavities. And that caught my attention. Is that true? You're a dentist. Do those foods, are they more problematic than having your kid eat candy? Is that true?
Well, I think it just raises the question that, all those crackers and things are carbohydrates and they have lots of sugar in them as well. So they're not super good for you. But I think, and also candy is not good for you either. It's not like you're going to eat candy, let your kids have candy 24 hours a day. I think, you have to do it in moderation. And I think the biggest thing is you just don't want to let that sit on your teeth. For kids, they need to rinse out their mouth or brush their teeth after meals.
Okay.
Just so, because all those crackers and things get in between the grooves of the teeth. And if you don't clean it or rinse it, it just sits there. And that's when it causes a problem.
Okay. So it sounds like it could be a problem. All right. You heard it here from BuzzFeed.
Yeah. Okay.
They can be problematic, those crackers. Also, because I'm obsessed with food, as you guys know, M&M has new flavors out. They have 3 new flavors that I just saw. They have peanut butter cinnamon roll, cherry chocolate cupcake, and lemon meringue pie.
That
what are our thoughts?
That sounds gross to
me. You don't want to try? I'm curious. Our mom loves M&Ms, and I'm wondering, would she try any of these? I don't know.
I don't know why you would ever put together peanut butter cinnamon roll. Is there such a thing as a peanut butter flavored cinnamon roll? Why? I don't understand that at all.
I don't know.
Flavor. I don't get that.
I don't know.
That sounds terrible.
I'm just give me the chocolate flavor.
Yeah, I don't think I want a lemon meringue pie M&M. That sounds awful to me too. But anyway, if you're into it, they have new flavor.
I wonder, is it the chocolate is flavored that way? Or is it a different filling with the candy coating? I don't understand how they do it.
It must be a different filling, right? With the coating. I don't know. If I see some, maybe I'll pick it up just for
get some and try it out.
Purposes. Yeah.
For research, yes. But I don't know. It does sound gross to me too. I don't know. Also, so Tracker, you guys watch the show Tracker, right?
I do. I like it.
So and I think our parents watch it. I've watched it. I actually know somebody who directs on that show. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're making the news because they normally shoot in Vancouver, Canada, and they are now, production is moving to LA.
Yes.
They're moving back to LA. They got a big tax credit. They're going to start shooting here in the summer, which I think is super exciting for LA and my LA friends.
Maybe other studios will follow suit.
I know. So I thought that was kind of exciting.
That's great.
What else I saw on the news that caught my eye, or, when I'm scrolling my socials, is Cameron Diaz just had her 3rd baby.
Yes.
How old is she? 53.
53, I think. I saw that too. Yeah.
With Benji Madison. They're married. They have 2 other kids, and I guess they had it through a surrogate. They had a baby boy, I think, through a surrogate. But
Wow.
I mean, she's kind of close to she's a little older than me, but not much. I just that's amazing, I guess, having a baby at 53. But wow, right?
Yeah. I mean, I want to know, how did they manage that?
I don't know. I think
they have a lot of help.
Yeah. I mean, the unfortunate thing is, even if you live to be 90, which is, I think, what she was sort of joking about, you are not the same person. I mean, it's just hard to keep up. Your body wears out. So, I mean, good for them. They have help. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but I wouldn't want to do it.
I mean, I don't know. Being an older mom might have more, I'm sure you could weigh the pros and cons of both, being younger and older. And
I mean, men do it all the time with young wives, so I guess she can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Why not?
But anyway, congratulations.
Yep.
Okay. And then if you're into golf, which we kind of are, Cameron Young won the Cadillac Championship over the weekend. And golf, I find to be fascinating. It's it's honor. There's a lot of honor in golf, or supposed to be. And he hit his ball accidentally and it moved. And so if your ball moves at all, you're supposed to be penalized a stroke. And nobody saw it happen, but he saw that he knocked his ball and he gave himself a penalty shot and he still won. And I always think that that's cool. I'm always so happy when people are honorable. And
I think that's
honest.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I thought that was amazing, and that he still won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah. So speaking of golf and tournaments, you guys are working the next big golf tournament because it's in Newtown Square and it's the PGA Championship. And so we are going to have a sneak peek with that.
Yes.
Let's jump in.
So we want to welcome Peter to the show.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, all.
Peter's going to be our guest speaker today, talking about the PGA Championship. So my first question to you is, tell us a little bit about the tournament that's coming your way.
Great. So we are hosting, Aronimink Golf Club is hosting the 108th PGA Championship golf tournament the week of May 11th to the 17th. This is one of the 4 major golf championships held each year. The PGA rotates at different venues. People may be aware that the Masters is always located at the course in Augusta, Georgia. But this tournament and the other majors rotate across championship golf courses around the country and for the British Open, in the Europe environment. And so we are excited to be hosting the 108th PGA Championship. It's quite an honor to host that, and our club is very proud to have been selected.
Peter, tell us what your role is at Aronimink.
So I've been a member at Aronimink for over a decade. And as part of that, they had asked people to take on roles for the tournament. And so I was lucky enough to be able to serve as a committee chair for one of the areas. And there's dozens of committees, anything you can imagine, from caddy services to transportation to groundskeeping to hospitality to everything. And so the one that I'm in charge of with a colleague, I'm a co-chair, is the ticket and credential scanning committee. And so we will be responsible for managing people coming on to the property, making sure they have the right credentials, making sure we get them scanned, and making sure they get through the gates in an orderly fashion. And we'll have a team of about 125 volunteers or more helping us do that. Just for this one committee.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's an incredible number. Yeah.
So does the PGA manage that, or does your club manage that?
So the PGA has dedicated individuals that are focused on this championship, and they're here every day, all day, doing what they do. But our committees are managed by club members, and they roll up. So I'm a committee chair, and I report up to an individual running a number of committees, and they report to the chair of the entire tournament. And so,
how long have you been preparing for this?
So we found out that we were selected a few years ago, and work's been going on since then. But I would say in the last 12 months, the pace has picked up, and we've, reached out for volunteers to help all these committees from the community. We've reached out to local schools and law enforcement and all the things that get impacted with these events. We've also had to make changes to the golf course. We had some design work done. We added some different bunkers. We created some new tee boxes. We have really enhanced the course to make it the best challenge that it can be for the players. And one of the interesting things about this is that the membership made the tough decision to stop play on the course as of November 1st of last year. So for the last 6.5 months, we have not been able to play the golf course. Even though we live in Philadelphia and there's winter here, this course, typically gets played, through Thanksgiving into December, and then depending on snow and weather, through the early months of the year as well. And we would certainly be playing it last month and this month and very active. And so we made the decision to not have play on the course because the uncertainty of the weather. If you take a divot in the middle of the fairway in late November, that doesn't grow back until, late April, early May. And so we wanted the course to look in as pristine condition as it can be, because, we're expecting about 500 million people across the world to watch this tournament. And so tons of eyeballs. We wanted it to show.
I'm sorry, 5 million?
500 million.
500 million.
Across the world.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That is
we were expecting
number.
Probably 200,000 plus or more people through the gates for the tournament. So it'll be very, very well attended. The tournament is already sold out. We had great interest in people attending the event. And so the tournament has already been sold out.
So tell us where Aronimink is.
Aronimink is in Newtown Square, which is a western suburb of Philadelphia. So it's off the main line area. It's a great environment, suburban environment of homes and schools and athletic activities. And it's a great place to grow up and raise a family and work and live every day.
So how does the PGA Tour find your clubs? Like, do you ask to be a part of the PGA tournament, or do they find you?
The tours generally are seeking certain caliber golf clubs to host these types of events. And there's lots of characteristics that go into being a course that could potentially be under consideration. And it's obviously the golf course itself needs to be championship caliber. It needs to be able to host large crowds. It needs to be able to be challenging for the PGA golf professionals. It needs to be a long course, as the professional golfers of today's age have gotten more fit and equipment's gotten better. The courses need to be able to play very long to challenge these players. And so having a course that's a high quality course from a golfing perspective is important, but also the ability to host the tremendous amount of people that will be there, the community environment that can support an event, because none of these events happen without the community's support of volunteers and law enforcement and everything else you can imagine that goes into it. And so
did your club put together like a bid or RFP or something and compete with other area clubs or clubs across the country?
We generally get reached out to by the organizations that may want to have us host a tournament to see if we are receptive. And part of that process is, as a private golf club, that outreach then gets presented to the membership to see what appetite they have for hosting a major event. We have hosted a number of other tournaments over the years. We've hosted the PGA back in 1962. We hosted the AT&T National in 2010 and 2011, I believe. The BMW Championship in 2018, the Women's LPGA Championship. And so we've hosted many events over the years. And it's an honor to host them, but it is a major commitment by the club to commit to doing that. It takes a real village of people to make these things come together.
Gosh, that's super exciting. So what I want to hear about is, so your role is going to be the credentials. So that's a big responsibility. have you gone through like security training and stuff like that? Because like, what if some guy like tries to run through the gate? Like, do you tackle him, or like, how's that work?
Or is there such a thing as counterfeiter tickets? Like for golf, does that happen in this sport?
Sure. I'll take a couple of those questions. So the first one is, we're definitely going through training. Each of the committees has specific training for their roles. So whether you're part of the committee that is going to evacuate players if there's lightning or storms, they've been told how they're going to do that. For us, we've been told, and we'll get our volunteers will get training next week in advance of the event on how to, work the handheld devices.
Proper way to tackle.
Correct. Well, we're not expecting a very raucous group here. This is a major championship. People are very interested and excited about golf, but there is certainly security here. We already have security on the course now at the entrance already. Making sure that only the appropriate people are allowed access.
Right.
But we will certainly be manning the turnstile, so to speak, to make sure that people are getting through efficiently. They're behaving. They're getting their tickets scanned properly, and getting into the property to get to all the great venues. Whether it's golf simulators that are set up, whether it's the food or beverage environments, whether it's watching the players on the putting green and the short game area, or getting down to the driving range and watching them hit shots, or getting into the hospitality and merchandise tents. There's a lot to do on the property. Even outside of watching golf. And the tournament, championship week starts a week from tomorrow. So on Monday, the 11th, people will be here. We've already had pros playing practice rounds on the course already, but they'll be here in earnest the week starting the 11th because there's no other competing events going on. And so there'll be people out here watching practice rounds. There'll be people, bringing their kids. The neat thing on the practice rounds is you can have cameras. And so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you can get pictures. You can be doing a lot of things that won't be possible Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the championship.
Does your general ticket let you go into all these extra things like the simulators, or are there certain levels of tickets?
Your general ticket will give you access to everything I just talked about. But then there are also different levels of hospitality that people may have purchased. So there's a Club PGA experience that is a separate area that you need a certain ticket to get into. The members, or those that have bought certain levels of tickets called an 1896 ticket, have access to 3 or 4 specific areas on the course that are reserved for them. But the general ticket holder has full access to everything that I mentioned, from food and simulators and the merchandise tents and the practice areas and all of those things. So it's a very robust experience with some additional levels if people have decided to invest in those areas.
And like the sporting events are expensive and people like to get in them. Some sports have counterfeit tickets. Does the PGA struggle with that at all? Like, do you worry about being able to scan and make sure that the ticket's real?
Yeah, I think we're going to be okay on that front. I mean, obviously, fraud exists in a lot of environments, and the bad elements get better and better at it. But our tickets are all going to be electronic tickets through the SeatGeek app. And so we're hopeful that most of that will be avoided. And people that are transferring tickets will be doing that through the SeatGeek act as well. So using that technology and the applications will make it easier for us to prevent some of those challenges. The other thing that's maybe unique to this tournament is that it's no reentry. So once you've had your ticket scanned and you've entered the tournament, when you leave, you cannot come back in unless you have a different ticket that hasn't been scanned yet. The only exception to that will be if there's a weather event where people have to leave the grounds because of lightning or storms or something. In that circumstance, there'll be ways to get back on the property. But in general, I think the ability to be fraudulent here is fairly minimal.
So if anyone is listening and they're going to this tournament, is it a clear bag policy too?
It is a clear bag policy.
It
There's a
is,
great
okay.
website you can get to for the PGA Championship to see what you can bring, what you cannot bring. But it would be the usual things. You can't bring alcohol. You can't bring electronic devices other than your phone, because your phone is going to be where your tickets are. But you can't bring computers or iPads or tablets.
Cameras.
You cannot bring cameras other than Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during the practice rounds. You can't bring ladders. You can't bring telescoping things to take selfies or stools or golf clubs or any of those kinds of things. You should bring a jacket because it could be, weather dependent. Bring comfortable walking shoes. There is some elevation to the course as you move around it. Bring sunscreen, bring hats, bring sunglasses because we're hoping for some nice weather.
Yeah.
And
so
be prepared to be amazed at the course and amazed at the players, because the talent that exists today on the PGA Tour is just tremendous.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. I'm a big fan of Scotty Scheffler, and I think that would be fun to watch him play.
Well, Scotty will be a very popular player this week because he's the defending champion of the PGA Championship. So he won it last year. He's playing tremendous. He just finished second today in the PGA Tour event down in Florida. And so he is doing very, very well. And will be a very crowded player being watched by many, as will Rory McIlroy, as will Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas and all of these other players that are so strong and so popular. But from player 1 to player 156, all of them will have fans and people cheering them on, and we'll be looking for some great competition over the course of the week.
So, Peter, I think that how many volunteers did you say that you all had?
There's a couple thousand volunteers for the whole event, and those come from for this whole event. And those volunteers are a subset of members of the club, like myself and my wife, and I know you all are volunteering as well. But also out in the community, the community support has been tremendous here for this event, and we've had thousands of people sign up to want to volunteer to be on some type of committee, to be helping people on the property, to be serving, to be doing all the different things that are necessary for this event to happen.
So what I found interesting about that is that the volunteers do have to pay to get their shirts and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So why do they set it up that way? Do you know?
I do. So the way it works is the volunteers end up paying a fee to get the merchandise that they're going to need to be wearing. So a typical volunteer will be getting 2 or 3 shirts, a hat, perhaps a pullover, a jacket, depending on the different roles they have. But they're getting a set of a uniform set, multiple editions of the uniform. But they also get credentials that get them on the property. And so these volunteers are generally working between 3 and 5 shifts. Some people are working 6 or 8 just because they're really excited to do it. But the benefit is when you're here working, you're obviously got a job and you're helping people. But when you're not working, you have access to the course. Your credentials as a volunteer get you on the property the entire week. So you may be working a shift on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Thursday, but you can come out with your credentials and your parking pass and be out here every day of the week participating in the event. So essentially what you're paying for is uniforms and the tickets as part of your volunteering. And so it's a great trade-off. We have not heard anybody complaining about it, and the fee that they charge is quite reasonable for the merchandise you get and the ticket access that you get.
So Peter, are there people that want to get involved that don't know Aronimink and don't know this tournament, but maybe live elsewhere throughout the States? Are there other PGA events that they could volunteer for?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely, there are volunteer events in every state around the country where there's a golf tournament being held, and whether that's a senior PGA event, a regular PGA event, a Corn Ferry Tour, an LPGA. The golf tournaments run extensively on the backs of the volunteers in those communities. And, we have volunteers for our tournament, and once they've signed up, they've been outreached to say, hey, we know you're a volunteer at the Aronimink event this year. The PGA Championship next year is in Frisco, Texas. and the year after that is in San Francisco, California. We'd love to get you on the list for that. But every tournament, there's a tournament in Charlotte next week that's made up of volunteers from Charlotte and all over the country that come in for that. We have friends and family coming in from Illinois and Nashville and other places that are volunteering for this because they like golf. They know that we're here. They're coming to visit. And so they're doing it.
Yeah.
And so
I'm coming to
absolutely.
I also, Peter, wanted you to talk a little bit about like inside the ropes and the younger generation of kids, because I know there's also volunteers for that. Could you speak on that?
Yeah, one of the great things the PGA tries to do, and I believe all the golf tournaments try to do this, but certainly the PGA is focused on it, is growing the game of golf. And one of the things they like to do is in each of the groups that are playing the course, you may notice that there's a scoring group walking, in that group behind the players, carrying a scoreboard. They're called standard bearers, and it'll have the players' names and their score, and that's updated after every hole. And so what they've done for our tournament is most of the standard bearers are children. I think it's 18 to 25-year-old kids are the ones in those types of roles. They wanted to give folks that are in high school and college or just out of college the chance to be around this and find this love of the game that maybe happens because you're inside the ropes, a little closer to the professionals. You're near the action, and you're changing the scores for those guys every hole. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so actionable and interactive for them. What a great opportunity for them. So is there anything that's happened in the last couple of years in preparation for this big event that has sort of surprised you? Like something with the course, with the PGA, like anything that you were like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen, or...
Yeah, I'd say a few things perhaps. On the course side, we knew that we might have to make some modifications to try to lengthen some holes, to try to maybe change some challenging aspects or maybe change the optics of some of the holes. So we had one of the foremost designers in the country come in and do some work to help, tweak a few things. But I would say maybe more surprising is the amount of activity that goes on to get a course ready. We have had, I'll say hundreds, if not 1,000 people on the course every day, on the property every day for the last 4 months, building structures, building the infrastructure,
like
the stands, the concessions. It's unbelievable. The number of trucks, the amount of material, wood, metal, you name it, coming in every day, all hours of the day to get this ready. I mean, for the last 3 months, they have been building a city here on the grounds of Aronimink Golf Club. And, when the tournament's over, they'll start taking that down, and that'll take them, another 2 or 3 months to do that as well. Yeah. And the thing that was interesting for me to think about, because we live close to the course and we drive by it every day and see this is going on. Some element of this type of activity is going on at another 12 or 15 courses around the country, because there's a professional tournament every weekend somewhere. Now, obviously, this is a major. This is the PGA, so it's a little bit bigger. It's a little more blown out than what you might see at others. But there is a whole ecosystem of people and processes that happen to make this all come together. So when you're watching a course on TV, what you're seeing is a fraction of what's gone into it to make it that special and that amazing.
Exactly. That's a good point, that we do live close to Aronimink, but there's also a school that's very close to Aronimink, and this has impacted the school, and the school will be closed for the entire week of this tournament because people won't be able to get to school.
Yeah, the roads around the course are very restricted. Some are closed. There's a major highway that's going to be partially closed, certain lanes blocked off. And so it was going to be very challenging for that school to be in session. And so for the kids, they get a week off. Hopefully they'll go to the course and see the tournament. But it does impact the community and people. There's been very high level of receptivity for the tournament, but not everybody loves golf. There are, road closures and routing changes and things like that.
Oh, this
will
is going to
these
impact people.
It'll be interesting this year to see. But having hosted them before, it's not new to the community. That people know what to expect.
Right.
And like I said, we're hoping for really nice weather so the course can look great. The players can be forced to play their best golf, so we can have a great champion for the tournament.
Does the PGA then pay for the construction and the course changes, or is that something that your club takes on in exchange for the tournament to be there?
Yeah,
to be a host course.
There's a partnership aspect to it. The PGA funds a lot of the activities, and they generate a lot of the revenue associated with this. So the ticket sales, the concession sales, and the merchandise and things like that. The club ends up making some money at the end of the day, but this is a PGA production, so to speak, and they are the ones that are putting on this great event, and we are fortunate to be their partners to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big eye opener for me is just the amount of money that this costs, just building these buildings, and what are they doing to the landscaping? I mean, just that in general. That's not even the merchandise and everything else. I mean, the tractor trailers, the semis. I mean, everything. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
it sounds like you guys are going to have quite experience.
It should be amazing.
It's going to be very, an incredible thing. Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks, Peter. Is there anything that you think our listeners would like to know? An additional anything like behind the scenes info about these kind of tournaments?
I'd say that they're competitive tournaments. I mean, there's only 156 people that get into this tournament, so you had to have been chosen based on your standing, your rank, your past wins, maybe in major tournaments. There's a whole qualification element to this. So we've got the best players in this event. It's going to be televised, so if you can't get here in person, certainly be watching the Golf Channel and your major broadcast stations to see the golf, because it will be amazing. Jim Nance and team will be covering it.
Good.
And
I love Jim Nance.
We're excited for the ability to show the world, the course that we have at Aronimink and the community here that supports it. As we host, a major golf tournament.
Peter, I have actually one more question, because I always also think about food and eats, and the Masters, the Masters, I know is always at the same golf club. It's always at Augusta, and they have their famous pimento sandwiches and, peach cobbler. Does the PGA tournament that you're hosting, will they have a specialty food? Or is that only for the Masters?
Those specific foods, I think, is predominantly for the Masters. We may have some special things going on. I think that there's going to be some special beverages that may be able to be purchased, but it won't have the history and the legacy that the Masters has with their traditions there. But we'll have a full verse of food and beverage and concessions to meet the needs of the spectators that are going to be attending the tournament. One additional thing that I think is interesting to mention that I didn't is that this is the PGA Championship. This is the Professional Golf Association's championship tournament. And so the neat thing about this event is, in addition to the traditional PGA Tour professionals that play golf every day for a living, there will be 20 PGA golf professionals here who are club pros, who are teaching assistants, who are instructors of golf from clubs around the country that just played in their championship tournament last week to determine the top 20 players. And so you'll have 20 people playing the tournament on Thursday that don't do this every day like Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and those folks. These are guys that are running the pro shops at a golf course. They're teaching students how to play golf and parents
fun.
And families and grandparents. And it's a unique tournament that has these professional golfers as part of the field. And so it's fun to watch that.
That's neat. Well, I'm looking forward to watching the tournament. Thank you so much, Pete, for coming in and
Yes, thank
giving
you,
us
Peter.
a little behind the scenes 411 about this tournament that's going to be happening.
Well, super. It was fun to be here and share a little bit about the club. It's a very special place, and we're privileged to be members and privileged to be hosting this tournament, and looking forward to a great event in about 10 days.
Good luck. You know, one thing that I was really surprised by when I was listening to all of this was the fact that so many volunteers are an integral part of the process. So like, and I think I read somewhere where like 2,000 volunteers are very commonly working one of these big events. And I know we're working it. I'm very excited to be doing it, but I was just really taken aback by how many people behind the scenes it takes. And they're not just like workers for the PGA, it's volunteers giving their time. And
so it's a great way to, like, what I took away from it, if you are into it and you want to be involved and you want to see a tournament, and it's expensive to go to these tournaments if you just pay for a ticket. So it may be a good option for you to be able to go and enjoy it with spending, being a little bit more affordable, like giving your time to get some access to the tour.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, the volunteers, I mean, they come throughout the whole community, and it is a community event, really, from this area. So it's kind of cool because, you know, a lot of my friends are working it and talking. I mean, everyone's talking about it.
Sure.
And I mean, I have to say, you know, just the money generated from this tournament is incredible. I think that was the one thing that stood out to me. I mean, not only like the golf course changes, but like our surroundings have changed. Like I told you all before, but we have a road. So I've lived here for about 12 years, and we have a road that goes up to school, which has a big traffic circle. And it was like bare in the center. And it's like literally a quarter of a mile from Aronimink. And like last week, they had all this nursery people out putting beautification bushes and all kinds of stuff in this circle. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, they don't like it.
The PGA is like, oh no, we can't have this eyesore. No, not on our watch. No thanks.
It just was funny to me. Like, it's been
no one
forever.
cared about it before, but now it's going to be on TV. I mean, it is kind of cool that you guys are reaping some of the rewards for having such a major event in your backyard. I agree.
There's been some downside though, right? Like if you're a member of the club, you haven't had access to the golf course itself though for like 6 months.
That's
so
right.
So there is like some, you know, I mean, some negatives to it, right? Like, you know, the traffic is going to be crazy. You've had all this construction. You haven't had access.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely negatives, but I think people are excited that this major championship wants to have it at this club. So, you know, it's not like you host it, you know, every year. I mean, I think if that were the case, people would say no. So I think people are willing to put up with it just because it is quite an event.
Well, Kathy and I will be stomping around working. And so be on the lookout for some reels from Kathy and I. We'll give you a little peek behind the curtain firsthand, and you can all enjoy the experience with us. So
I know, have fun. It'll be interesting to see does Cameron Young win back to back, or will Scotty Scheffler, like, you know, win? I really like him a lot, so it's going to be fun for you guys to watch.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, thanks, Kath. What's for dinner?
Grilled flank steak is what's for dinner.
Okay.
So I just made this recently, and I thought I would share because it was so good. So, you know, meat is really expensive right now. Flank steak is a little bit more affordable piece of meat, and I feel like you can also stretch it. So I got some flank steak and I marinated it all day long. And then I threw it on the grill, and it's quick. It cooks really quick, like 6 minutes on each side. I slice it up and I served it with some vegetables, and then we have leftovers. So we're going to make tacos, or you can make nachos, or you can make quesadillas. It really is yummy, and it stretches, and it kind of it feels a little fancy without being necessarily fancy.
That sounds really good. I'm going to serve it to my guests this week.
All right, Kath, close us out, babe.
All right. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please continue to follow us at 3littlefishes.com/show notes to make sure you're up for our exclusive content and recipes. Also, make sure to follow us at 3LF Pod on social media to be part of our daily conversation. We hope that you enjoy the Aronimink PGA Championship this week and have a wonderful weekend. Fishes out.